Everyone thought she had the perfect life, until she walked into a tiny burger shop and fell in love with the boy who had nothing. What she didn't know was this one moment would destroy every lie she ever told, starting with her name. Isabella Torres had everything other girls her age prayed for: private drivers, a beachfront mansion in Miami, a father who owned half the hotels on the coastline, and a wardrobe worth more than some people's homes. Yet, on the inside, she felt painfully empty. Every morning, she woke up in her silk sheets, stared at the chandelier hanging above her, and wondered why she couldn't feel happy the way everyone expected her to. Her friends weren't really friends. They were influencers her father paid to keep her company. Her life was a carefully curated photograph, beautiful, glossy, and fake. On the outside, she was the girl living the dream life. On the inside, she felt like a ghost watching her own world from behind a glass window. Subscribe to our channel for more emotional and educational content, and make sure to hit the like button and tell us where you're watching from. Let's continue. One Friday evening, Isabella escaped the mansion. No bodyguards, no drivers. She just wanted a moment to breathe like a normal person. She wandered through South Beach until her feet hurt, passing the glowing streetlights and laughing crowds she wished she could join. She stopped in front of a small burger shop, Sunny Bites. It was loud, cheap, messy, and completely opposite of her world. Maybe that's why it felt warm. Inside, a boy around her age was wiping the counter, humming softly to himself. He had messy dark hair, a simple uniform, and a calm presence she hadn't felt in years. Their eyes met for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, something shifted. She didn't know his name. He didn't know hers. But for the first time in months, Isabella felt something. And that small spark would soon unravel everything she thought she knew about Rich. The burger shop smelled like sizzling beef, onions, and toasted buns, scents Isabella had never experienced in her father's perfectly sterilized kitchen. She took a seat near the window, trying to blend in, though her diamond bracelet and designer sneakers betrayed her identity immediately. The boy at the counter approached her with a notepad and the warmest smile she had seen in a long time. "First time here?" he asked. His voice was gentle, friendly, not forced or calculated. Isabella nodded shyly. "Yeah. What do you recommend?" He smirked. "Depends. You in the mood for something messy or something really messy?" She laughed, an actual laugh, not the polite, camera-ready one. A laugh that surprised even her. He recommended the Sunny Melt, their messiest burger. She ordered it despite having no idea how to eat something so imperfect. As she waited, she watched families sharing fries, students joking loudly, couples feeding each other. People looked happy. Not rich, just happy. The boy placed the plate in front of her. "Sunny Melt special. I added extra cheese. It felt like you needed it." She didn't understand what he meant, but she nodded gratefully. When she bit into the burger, cheese dripped onto her lap. She gasped in embarrassment, but he laughed softly. "Don't worry. Mess means you're doing it right." Isabella felt heat rise to her cheeks. For the first time in so long, she wasn't being watched. She wasn't being photographed. She wasn't being judged. She was just a girl eating a burger. And for a single moment, it felt like freedom. "So, what's your name?" the boy asked, leaning against the counter as the shop grew quieter for the night. She hesitated. Revealing her name usually changed everything. People suddenly became nicer or greedier. But for some reason, she wanted honesty tonight. "Isabella," she said softly. He smiled. "Pretty name. I'm Liam." Liam. Simple, ordinary, real. They talked for a few minutes about school, music, and Miami weather. She learned he worked at the shop after classes to help his mother pay bills. He wasn't ashamed. In fact, he spoke about it with a sense of pride. "I like working," Liam said. "It feels good to earn something, even if it's small." Isabella felt her stomach twist. She had never earned a single thing in her life. Everything she had was handed to her. Liam asked casually, "So what do you do?" She froze. If she said millionaire's daughter, everything would change. So she said, "I'm figuring that out." He didn't press her, didn't stare too long, didn't act impressed. Their conversation was interrupted by his manager calling, "Liam, clock out!" He sighed, untied his apron, and walked back to Isabella. "I'm heading out. It was nice talking to you." His kindness was disarming. She had met boys with expensive cars and perfect teeth, boys who bragged about yachts and weekend trips to Dubai. None of them felt as genuine as Liam wiping tables in a burger shop. Before he left, he slid a napkin toward her. On it was a smiley face and the words, "Come back tomorrow, if you want." She folded the napkin carefully, as if it was something precious, because maybe it was. Isabella returned home just before midnight. Security guards panicked, maids scrambled, and her father's assistant nearly fainted. "Miss Isabella, where have you been? There was no chauffeur." "I walked." The entire mansion went silent. Isabella Torres walked? Her father emerged from his office, tired and irritated. "Isabella, you can't just disappear. What were you thinking?" He didn't ask if she was okay. He didn't hug her. He just worried about embarrassment. She swallowed her frustration. "I needed fresh air. Next time, take a driver." The conversation ended there, like always. Her father went back to his business calls. The maids whispered. Isabella climbed the stairs, feeling more alone than she did outside. But something different lingered in her chest. A calmness, a warmth, a spark. She went to her room and pulled out Liam's napkin. It made her smile more than any gift she had received this year. But then reality hit her. When Liam discovered who she truly was, would he still look at her the same? Would he treat her with the same sincerity? She wasn't ready to risk that. So the lie began. Not out of pride, but fear of losing the first genuine connection she'd felt in years. The next day, she dressed in simple clothes, tied her hair back, and left the mansion quietly. She didn't want to show up looking like a billionaire's daughter. She wanted Liam to see her, the real her. Not the glittering version the world applauded. But lies have a way of growing, and Isabella didn't realize how big this one would become. The bell over the burger shop rang as Isabella stepped inside again. Liam was cleaning the soda machine, but when he saw her, his eyes lit up. Not in admiration, not in recognition, just happiness. "You came back," he said, sounding surprised but pleased. "I said I would," she replied, taking her usual seat. He brought her a tray of fries on the house. Perks of being a returning customer. They talked again, this time longer. Liam told her about his dream of becoming a chef, how he practiced recipes at home using whatever his mom could afford. He explained that life wasn't easy, but he hoped to open a food truck one day. Isabella soaked in every word. His dreams weren't built on influence or opportunity. They were built on effort, struggle, and heart. "What about you?" Liam asked again. "What do you want to do with your life?" She looked at him, really looked at him, and whispered the truth she never said out loud. "I want to feel alive." Liam blinked, taken aback. Most girls he knew wanted boyfriends, TikTok fame, or new iPhones. But this girl, she wanted meaning. "You will," he said softly. "Sometimes you just need the right people around you." Her heart skipped. The right people. Was he one of them? As they talked, Isabella felt something unfamiliar. Peace. She didn't know it yet, but Sunny Bites was becoming her escape. And Liam. Liam was becoming her home. Ella woke up the next morning with an unusual feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. Anticipation. It had been years since she'd looked forward to anything outside of events, fashion launches, or the artificial excitement of high society gatherings. But today felt different. She spent more time than usual picking her outfit, choosing something simple enough to look casual, but classy enough that she still felt like herself. She didn't want to look like the rich girl trying to dress poor. She just wanted to look normal, for once. When she got downstairs, her driver was already waiting, but she paused. She didn't want to show up at the burger shop with a luxury chauffeur parked outside. So she surprised herself when she told Carlos, "I'll call you when I need you," and walked past him. It was her first time using Miami's public transportation alone, and she felt both terrified and excited. The world looked different when you weren't separated from it by tinted limousine windows. She saw people rushing to work, students laughing in groups, and street vendors calling out prices. It felt alive. Messy, loud, unpredictable, but alive. By the time she reached the burger shop, her heart was pounding. She stepped inside, hoping the boy from yesterday would be there. And he was. Same apron, same smile, same warm eyes. This time when he saw her walk in, recognition flashed across his face. "Back again?" he asked, wiping his hands on a towel. Ella tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and tried to play it cool. "Yeah, I like the fries," she lied, even though she hadn't eaten more than 3. He grinned, and for the first time in a long time, Ella felt something she hadn't felt before, seen. They talked longer this time. Ella learned his name, Jaden Miller, 19 years old, graduated high school last year, working 2 jobs to help pay his mom's medical bills. He said these things casually, without pity or dramatics, as if this was just life, and he was dealing with it the best way he could. Ella admired that. In her world, people dramatized everything, but Jaden talked like someone who understood what mattered. Jaden, on the other hand, didn't know who Ella really was. She introduced herself simply as Ella. No last name, no hints of wealth, no details about private tutors, bodyguards, or the Carter Empire. For the first time in her life, she felt free from the weight of her surname, free from expectations, free to be a normal girl with a normal interest in a normal boy. And Jaden treated her normally, something no one had done in years. He talked to her like she was a person, not a headline or a millionaire's daughter. Their conversation drifted to hobbies. She discovered Jaden loved photography, especially capturing sunsets on the beach. He talked about how colors made him feel, how he hoped to save enough money one day to buy a real camera. Ella found herself laughing, genuinely laughing, when he teased her terrible attempt at describing her favorite movie. Time passed too quickly, and she didn't want to leave. When she finally stood up to go, Jaden said, "See you around?" It wasn't a flirt. It wasn't forced. It was hopeful. Ella smiled. "Definitely." And as she walked away, her cheeks warm, she felt a spark of something she hadn't felt in years. Possibility. Ella's driver nearly fainted when she called him from a random bus stop to take her home. When she entered the penthouse, her father was already sitting at the dining table, scrolling through business documents. He glanced up briefly. "Where were you?" he asked. His tone wasn't harsh, but it wasn't caring either. Just routine. Ella hesitated, unsure how to explain a day she didn't want him to understand. "Out," she said simply. Daniel nodded slowly, already returning to his paperwork. That was their relationship. Polite, distant, functional. As she climbed the stairs to her room, she couldn't stop comparing the 2 worlds she was balancing. Jaden's world was loud, human, real. Her father's world was silent, polished, predictable. When she entered her room, spotless, color-coordinated, impersonal, she finally understood why she felt so drawn to Jaden's simplicity. It wasn't about him working at a burger shop. It was that he lived a life where emotions were actually felt, where choices mattered, where joy wasn't bought, but created. Ella looked at her reflection in the mirror. She didn't hate who she was, but she hated how limited her life felt, despite how vast it appeared to others. She remembered Jaden's words about sunsets, how the best ones were messy but beautiful. For the first time, she wondered if her life was too clean, too controlled, too perfect for real color. She lay on her bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking of him. How he smiled, how he talked, how he made her feel like Ella, not Ella Carter. And in that moment, she realized she wasn't just curious about him anymore. She was longing for him. The next day, Ella didn't plan to go to the burger shop. She wanted to avoid looking desperate, but fate had different plans. Her father asked her to deliver a document to one of his hotels near downtown. After the errand, she wandered into the streets, enjoying the small freedom she rarely allowed herself. And then she saw him, Jaden, rushing across the road with a camera around his neck, laughing with a friend. He didn't see her at first. He was too busy trying to take a picture of a street dancer. Ella watched him from a distance, mesmerized by how joyful he looked. This wasn't the tired boy behind the counter. This was the real Jaden, the one who loved sunsets, colors, and moments, the one she wanted to know more about. When he finally noticed her, his face lit up completely. "Ella, what are you doing here?" he asked, breathing slightly fast. She shrugged shyly. "Just walking around." Jaden raised his camera. "Want a picture?" She hesitated, but he didn't wait. He snapped it anyway. He showed her the shot on the screen. It was beautiful. Warm sunlight on her hair, a soft smile, eyes glowing. She looked happy, happier than she had looked in years. "You're good at this," she said softly. Jaden grinned. "I try." They ended up walking together for nearly an hour, sharing random stories and laughing at silly things. It was the most spontaneous thing Ella had ever done, and it felt perfect. Ella went home that evening feeling lighter than air, but her world was about to shift. When she entered the penthouse, her father's business partner, Mr. Sullivan, was there. The moment she walked in, both men looked at her like she had walked in from the wrong universe. "Ella, we were just discussing something important," her father said. "We've been invited to a high-profile charity gala this weekend. You'll attend with us." Ella froze. Those events suffocated her. The fake smiles, the camera flashes, the shallow conversations. And worse, this gala meant she'd have to pretend to be the perfect Carter daughter, all while hiding the part of her life that finally felt real. "Do I have to go?" she asked quietly. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Of course. It's important for our family image." Family image. That was always the reason. She nodded slowly, but her heart sank. Jaden had mentioned wanting to show her the best sunset spot in Miami this weekend. Now she'd have to disappoint him, and she hated the thought. That night, Ella sat by her window again. Same city, same lights, but she didn't feel empty anymore. She felt conflicted, torn between two worlds pulling her in opposite directions. One world gave her everything except happiness. The other gave her nothing except everything she was searching for.